Thanks for visiting. Here's a quick tutorial that I hope you enjoy. So I had somebody ask me about doing a lightning tutorial, so I thought that's what I would do here real quick. So the first thing you want to do is obviously get rid of the white background. Go with something dark, preferably not black necessarily, but just kind of a darker color. And then lay in what's going to be the foundation for the flash of it. So what I'm doing here is just some blue, because I figured this would be, maybe a nighttime theme, nighttime stormy kind of feel to it. But the key thing to remember when you're doing any kind of lightning or fire or any of that kind of stuff, it needs to be the brightest thing on the canvas. So get rid of white as soon as you can, and then go with whatever colors. This could be purple, pink, it doesn't matter. I'm just going with blues for here. So, and also I'm using a little bit more standard painting, versus like slick Photoshop kind of stuff. And I've got the pen, which I started doing this and I realized, I've got the smoothing on, so I needed to turn the smoothing back down. And it's the chiseled writing pen, because I wanted that little bit of an angle, which you can mess around with over there on the left side where it says rotation. You just play around with that percentage. And then I wanted to go in and cut it in to have those jagged edges and add in the airbrush over top of it to kind of soften it. And that's really for me, that's how I get lightning to look how I like it, which is go with the hard edge, soften it back out, a little bit harder edge, soften it back out, and just kind of keep playing back and forth with it or how you like it. So lightning obviously has all the tendrils and everything else that kicks off of it. So hey, switch over to the airbrush tendrils effect, which is what I did here. Then taking the pencil, I go in and start adding in almost bright whites, but not completely. These are just a little bit over. If you look to the right hand side, you'll see where it's a little bit under white. So it's down on the value scale just a little bit, but it's still very bright. And if you looked at it comparatively, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's white, but it's still under it. So I'm just scribbling in. The key to these is lightning is very random. So just scribble it in. Don't try to go for any specific pattern or anything like that. And some of these I'm going to fade back because I'll switch to the palette knife and then push it back. And then also not wanting to have just whites, added in some blues as well, because lightning, especially in this kind of a thing, and again, you can go with whatever colors you want, but because I'm going kind of a blue-white lightning, then I'm adding in lighter blues. And again, going back to the airbrush, softening it in, and giving that glow of it. And this is a layer under main lightning, so that way I don't have to worry about it tinting the white or the light color. Then I'm going to go back in again with, this is pure white, but I won't leave this here. This is like my first lightning, my first bringing up the value somewhat, but I want to break that up and diffuse it. So that's where I switched to the blurred frosting for the palette knife. So going back over that, to break it up a little bit again, add into that jaggedness, and then same thing with the pencil, going back in with the bright color again to bring it forward a little more. And then this is kind of laying the foundation for what will be the highlight, the main highlight. But you could leave here. For example, if you like the painterly, unpolished, you can leave it here, or you can go back over it again, blur it out a little bit, soften it, and start playing around with the angles, and then go back in like I did here with the airbrush a little bit and the palette knife, first palette knife, and then going back to the airbrush here in a minute to soften it out some more. So again, airbrush, want that glow, and that's on the very bottom layer, by the way. I switch to the slow flow and tint it around that inner white again, a blue, like kind of a bluish white, to give that kind of halo effect. And then adding in some more bits and pieces of color here and there, doing the same thing on both sides, building it up. And again, this is total preference for what you want. This is just kind of the foundation for how I do this. Back in with the ink pen, same setting. this is where I'm cutting in what's going to be the final highlights to really give it that glow, that sharp, bright white. And again, with the lines, you don't want them to be even. You want to be jagged. Play around a little bit. And the same thing for the tendrils that are coming off. You need to lighten those up some. And I decided also I wanted to push the background color a little darker around it because, again, it makes the pop when you're doing it. So I'm just going back in with the airbrush really quick, throwing in some darker color, and then I'll blend that out a little bit with the palette knife just so it blends and matches the background a little more. And then I was going to add some tendrils, realized I had the wrong color. So then going back, picking that white color, and adding in those really sparkling tendrils. So you can see it gives you a glowing lightning, that can work for anything, for a thunderstorm, a wizard, a lightning dragon, it doesn't matter. But by building up those layers, you get kind of that really glowing effect, and to me it feels like you're looking at a lightning bolt. But this is how I like doing it for my paintings. So I hope you got some out of that, and make sure to leave a comment and like and subscribe.